Before I call the meeting to order, I just want to do one little housekeeping thing here that's kind of been irking me a little bit here, is that when we get into the section 12, it's public comments and delegation, we should, as counselors, should be realizing that that is for the delegation in the gallery. So if any of the council has any questions for the CEO or anything else, these should be put on an RFD, and then we'll put it in the agenda like we, normally do. That way nobody gets blindsided. And I know I want to, free speech and everything, but I know in the past and in our old council, it used to be wide open.
Got shut down.
and unfortunately, I mean, in some ways I don't see anything wrong with it, but if you have a problem, if you have something here and you want to put it on the agenda, do an RFP, and when everybody knows about it, we can research it. Nobody gets blindsided. Donna doesn't get blindsided. I don't get blindsided. Nobody does. So I just want to make that comment. Did you want to say something, Wendy?
No, I just gonna say thank you. Some of them know what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So, and when it comes to the public saying something, and absolutely everybody can, go into it and answer the questions, but we should not be bringing up questions for for Donna or anything like that in that section. So that's all I have to say. So 5:31, I want to call the regular council meeting to order for August 25th. First order of business on the agenda, call for pecuniary interest. I don't believe there's no in camera today, so I don't see anything there. And as far as the agenda, I have one item there that we have the Liz is here for doing some of the stuff, and we put her at the back there and she should be in the front. So for 9.1, I would like to change that to 9.4 and 9.4 to 9.1 by firstly. And 9.2 would be 9.5 and 9.5 would be 9.2. So that does that make sense?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, we're just juxtaposing it. Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay. Are there any other things that I want to add or omissions for the agenda? If not, can I get a motion to accept the agenda with those additions, changes?
I'll motion to accept the agenda with those changes.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. All right. 4.1, previous minutes of council. July 28th regular meeting, August 4th special meeting, August 18th special meeting. Are there any errors or omissions? Not, motion to accept those minutes.
I'll move to accept those minutes. I did review them.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. All right. So moving on, we'll go right to 8.1. Thorsby Community in Bloom's Spirit of Christmas at the Spot. So Donna, you want to?
I can certainly introduce it, Your Worship and Council. So Communities in Bloom has submitted a request regarding this year's Spirit of Christmas and Spirit of Christmas at the Spa. Festivities to waive the rental and cleaning fee at the Art Spas Recreation Complex, as well as a community grant application. Communities in Bloom has submitted a projected budget as well as to request to waive the fees for Art Spas Recreation Complex rental and cleaning. I do want to clarify that, though. We never asked Communities of Bloom to pay for the rent on the complex or the cleaning. What we would do is we would look to our sponsors to sponsor some of that as well, because we'll need a cleaner for at least 5 hours after that night. And the rental stays, but we can ask some of our big contractors this year if they would be so kind as to donate. They've all indicated they want to help. So I don't want Communities in Bloom to think that they had to fundraise or do anything like that. That's actually what it costs. But if we can get some sponsorship for that, I'm pretty confident we can with our big contributors this year in the town. That's okay with all of you. I'd like to do that because I don't want to set a precedent.
Yeah, no, I think I can speak on behalf of Communities in Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'd like to call a point of order.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd actually like Councilman Tracy to declare conflict of interest because she is a member of this community assembly, and that's clarified by conversation with Mayor Ash.
Okay, did you, Jessie?
I just, I guess also a point of order is just that there's no conflict of interest anymore. So there's no councillor code of conduct rules.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead, Councilor Tracy Campbell.
Yeah, if you'd like to.
That's
get on.
fine. Yeah, no, I think it was verbal at first when I heard that, there would be a $800 rental and a $200 cleaning fee. And my understanding is that Communities in Bloom heads this event because we have the bank account for the funds to flow through. And otherwise, typically, this would have been chamber event. The town wasn't stepping up to say, we'll do it as a town event. So Communities in Bloom was put on the heading, although yes, we're all happy to volunteer and put in time. We didn't want to be on the hook for $1,000 obligation to pay.
Yeah,
And
that was
so-
there. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, there would be different ways of looking at it, whether it's waive the fees or yes, look for sponsorship to cover those fees.
Yeah.
Or a third option might be for the town to fund the fees to Communities in Bloom and recirculate it right back in if that's what you want to do for bookkeeping. But yes, getting sponsorship is going to generate the revenue, which is beneficial, of course.
Yeah, and your worship to Councillor Tracy, thank you for that clarification, because it was never, we don't want to waive the fees.
No, I don't see how you can.
No, we can't.
First of all, I mean, the county of Leduc might have something to say with that because they're part of the expenses, so,
Yeah,
and part of the revenue.
that's right. And I think it's easier to have a sponsorship for that fee. So I'll just say it that way. So I see Councillor Quadri's hands up.
Go on.
Seeing that I was the one who brought this up at the previous council, it was never the intention that Communities in Bloom is the spirit of Christmas with our donations that would be paying for everything, not Communities in Bloom.
The checks essentially come out of Communities.
It does,
So
but I mean, there has,
that's where the risk is for Communities in Bloom.
if we don't get the funding, we don't host the event.
Yeah, and that was at the previous meeting. My statement was we were racking up a lot of, with not just the cost of the building and the cleaning, but if we were having somebody to come in to do all the different things, the ninja and all the different things,
Exactly.
was we wanted to make sure that we were going to have sponsorship for this and that Communities in Bloom is not
No,
left
there,
holding the bucket.
it was never the intention that to have Communities in Bloom pay for anything. If they want to help with the event, it's great, but for funding, no. Because I mean, we do have seed money of $1,200.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping that the letters will be generated, so CA Donna has graciously offered that she will take it to a few of our key people here if we can get her the letter.
I'll just address it. And your worship to Councillor Audrey and Councillor Tracy. I think you're right, Councillor Tracy, the checks come out of Communities in Bloom, but part of what is going to happen is there'll be sponsorship amounts. They won't be horrendous, but somebody could end up paying for the cleaning and they've sponsored that. And it could be anybody, right? And we do have vested interest, I'll say it that way, in our bigger companies that want to kind of help out at Christmas. We've done lots of things for them and been very keen to assist them while they've been here doing all this horrendous amount of work that they're doing. So yeah, we just see, Councillor Tracy, we just see the Communities of Bloom Group, sorry, through the as the not even the sponsor, it's the Communities of Bloom is basically the headliner. Really? Sorry? Yeah, the figurehead. You're headlining it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And you're right. Grants have to come through you. The sponsorship will all go through you. But everything will be listed out so that when you write a check for $900 or $900 or $1,000, it will be itemized what that sponsor wanted, and they will have an invoice to that, and we will have a check to that. So, and we can work with Communities in Bloom to provide double checking so that you feel comfortable and we feel comfortable. I have no problem doing that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. And like I say, getting the sponsorship generates some more funds into the community.
Yeah.
Of course, that makes perfect sense, but Communities in Bloom does not want to be in the negative on any of it.
No, that's your worship through to Councillor Tracy. Communities of Bloom doesn't have to worry about that because you're housing money for already approved and sponsored procedures, sponsored things. I'll say things for now that have a defined. So let's just say if I'm Paternies and they give us $2,000, then my first question for Paternies is, what do you want to sponsor? Here's some things that you could sponsor. They add up to $2,000. That will be a formal letter for them and a formal letter to Communities of Bloom. So you have that. So then the check to Paternies, you know exactly what it's for.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Councillor.
Any other comment on that? Chair Donna, do you want a motion directing administration to tell them that they pay it, or do you want something that we put it on there and get us to vote against it? What would you like to see there?
I would like you to forego our recommendation, Your Worship, and indicate that through motion of council, the council consider administration work with Communities in Bloom to make sure any donations are expended appropriately.
Cover those fees.
Yeah.
Okay, got that. Okay, that makes sense. Somebody want-
I'll make that motion,
Okay, all in
so I don't
favor?
have to repeat it.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you.
And then do we need another one about the grants, the community grants for the?
And then we'll make a separate motion.
Okay.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Yes.
And then the second part of this is they have a grant application here for $500. And I think that's, we have money in our budget for that.
Yeah, there's still $1,000 there.
Okay.
And that's the same that was utilized for them last year, correct? Sorry, yeah,
Correct. Yeah, so that they can use.
they put my hand up.
So, who made out, I have a question for it. Who made out the request?
Fair.
Who?
Fair.
No, I'm just wondering how he figures that my email is gmail.com.
He's a little scattered right now.
Okay, no problem.
Because Tracy didn't double check.
Yes.
Your Worship, from administration, if you've changed your email, we'd be happy to receive an email from you. Thank you.
Do we have,
No, that says Barry Thorsby at gmail.com. That's Barry's email.
No, there's my email on there. It says Daryl Austin at gmail.com.
No, it says Barry Thorsby.
My copy doesn't say that.
No, mine doesn't either. It's Daryl Thorsby at Gmail.
No, it's actually Barry.
Was that Barry?
Yeah, it says Barry Thorsby.
Daryl.
It does look like.
I can
Daryl.
see why they said it. Yep.
Barry Thorsby. It looks like
Oh, I see
Daryl,
what
but
you're
it's
saying.
Barry Thorsby
Well,
at
I
gmail.
apologize. Okay, there we go.
I see what you're saying, but that's.
Mr.
Yeah.
Does it not look like Daryl? You know,
It does, yeah, it does. That, like, yeah.
It looks like Jerry.
You got bigger glasses, I guess. Go ahead.
so do we actually have a protocol whenever it comes to, giving up finances to other parts, slush fund, if you want to call it that? Like I know previous groups, 500, 500, 500. But do we have anything on the bylaws, resolutions, or anything that we cannot go over that $500?
Yeah, during Your Worship, through Councillor Reynolds, in the budget, it's a set fee. Our highest grant is $500, depending on the event. Our lowest could be $250 or $300 when that money is expended and stuff. So we are used to giving out 500 grants for a bigger event.
Okay. And the application form right on it says they're an event for more than 50 persons, excluding organized volunteers, up to $500. So that's what it says right on the form there. So.
Yep.
It just said we had upped that fund from 1,500 to,
I think we left it to 20.
I think it's 20.
25, I think, for Your Worship, Councillor Reynolds.
The increments didn't change.
Yep.
No,
But you're right, you.
There's a policy though that governs.
Yeah.
How they can apply, who can apply.
no, that was my question was, have we, when we increased the fund?
Yeah.
Did we also look at increasing the sponsorship?
No.
That was my question.
no.
Okay. All right, then, if no further questions, then can I get a motion to accept the application for community pool?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay,
Going forward, 9.1, which would be the,
9.4, your worship,
pardon me?
would be 9.4 in your package.
Correct. I was just gonna read out all the thing here, but that's
Sorry,
fine.
sorry, sir.
That's fine. You go ahead.
No,
I'll
I
let you-
apologize.
I'll let you take the show and then you can sit down to,
Thank you, worship, for indulging my impertinence. I would, I apologize. So if council, mayor and council could kindly look at 9.4. This is regarding bylaws and policies, updates to the town of Thorsby certificate of compliance policy. And this opportunity to just hear from Calgary to present this in person because there's some changes.
all right.
Hello. I'm not going to read everything word for word because I don't think you guys want to listen to that. Essentially, what we've done is we have an existing policy ADM-03-24, which was approved in March of 2024. And that is a certificates of compliance for real property reports policy. We are suggesting some changes. We've had some recent experiences that have been a bit atypical. And so we actually went through a review with legal and me working together to come up with some changes. One of the key changes is that for information, maybe I should start there before I jump in. A real property report prepared by an Alberta Land Survey is required for any certificates of compliance. Certificates of compliance are not a service that are required through the Municipal Government Act. We do them as a service. They were originally created through mainly mortgage brokers and banks who have said, we need to know that this property meets the regulations, therefore we require it. They're actually one of my least favorite activities and documents that we do as a municipality. And the reason for that is when people bring them in, they're very stressed. They're selling their most valuable possession. And oftentimes when they come in and they've owned a home for a number of years, there's problems. And there's processes to work through it. And we are always as supportive as we can to work through those problems if they come up. Problems often are that they didn't put sheds far enough away from property lines. Houses, they didn't get them surveyed when they built them. A more common problem 10, 20, 30 years ago. Today, most home builders would bring surveyors out to locate before they even start. But essentially what they are is they say, yes, this meets the town's land use bylaw, or no, it doesn't, fix it. We cannot, if we are going to offer this service, we must do it ethically. And so with recent experiences, there's been some hiccups. And what we are doing is basically putting out to this policy to be more clear that these are a service we provide, not a Municipal Government Act requirement. So that's the first policy that we've put in. The second policy is a revised guideline 3, which is more explicitly stating this is not a building code compliance check. This is truly a land use bylaw requirement check. We do not want to add in or make people think that this is or potentially think that this is a building codes check. That is an entirely different endeavor that is not something that is required. And that is personal due diligence when you're purchasing. The next one is the revised policy guideline 7, that we do not conduct any site visits. We can conduct site visits. We can do that for any planning application. And that can be as simple as staying on a public road and looking at what's there. And we've just decided after our recent experiences, we're going to make a policy. We're not doing that for this. We did have a circumstance where something was put on incorrectly, and that turned into a bit of a nightmare for us to process ethically, but also for a surveyor who should never have submitted what he did. We're not going to go into why, because frankly, that doesn't matter. They did rectify it when they were notified of that. But we're just not going to put ourselves in that position. We are simply going to look at what they give us on paper and say, yes, this matches it, or no, it doesn't. And you guys are, as the applicant, aware of what that means, and you guys do your own due diligence. If you go to site and you see that this doesn't look right, that's for them to deal with through their lawyers. We've also done guideline 15. It states that they're only valid as of the date of the real property report. This was implied, but we decided that we need to make it more explicitly clear. So we've always said that this is based on the real property report prepared by whatever surveyor on whatever date. However, we're now saying that just adding it that it's effective as of that date. Guideline 17 provides further privacy protections for RPRs and ensures that the town is clear on distributing RPRs to third parties. RPRs and certificates of compliance are used during purchase land transactions. So purchasers, sellers, they want copies, and we don't want to get stuck in the middle of a legal battle. So we just have added some clarity around that. And then 18, again, further clarifies that this is about setbacks and property information in line with the land use bylaw. Overall, this doesn't change what we've been doing or will continue to do from an administrative process perspective. What it does is add clarity. What we're also doing on the actual compliance certificate is the very first line will now state the following is in accordance with policy ADM 03-26, assuming council approves today. So we are referencing people back to this policy the second they see them. Honestly, if we could stop doing them, I would. They're an administrative stress point, and when they go well, it's a 20-minute check. Yep, everything matches. Here's your compliance. When they go poorly, they cost a lot of administrative time for something that's not legislated. However, as much as land title insurance is a possibility, it is not a common thing in Alberta. Lawyers don't love it. Purchasers and sellers don't love it. And this is a service that needs to be provided to the residents. So we do need to keep doing them. And so ultimately, we do recommend that council approve the updated policy.
So really what in a roundabout what you're saying is that the surveyor does the compliance report. And if they mark it up there, if whatever they say, the onus is on them.
We are going to only look at what they provide us. If it's not factual, not our problem.
Not our problem. They're the ones that makes it that way. And if they've made an error or something, the liability is on them.
Yes.
The onus is on them. It's not on us.
Yeah. And this is basically about explaining and expanding on that and setting the framework and the limitations for what we are doing.
Yep. It makes sense. I mean, why would be spending money and, I mean, we're not making any money on this. That's just going to cost us money. And then if something goes sideways, then we have to deal with it. So
yeah,
it makes a lot of sense to me. So
we're just, as a hypothetical, if our CAO gets involved in setbacks, bylaws, policies, where do they stand?
They have to follow the policies. So they, regardless of being a compliance policy or.
But you just said you're gonna accept the reports as actual.
Which is what the policy says.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
So now if our CAO comes out and sees a fence line or a shed that shouldn't be where it should be.
We're not going to go out to do those site visits. That is a clear, a key element of this.
We don't have a duty.
But what if it comes up? And then it's, say it's reported to Donna. Somebody buys a house and the shed's halfway into the alley.
So
Okay.
that's a circumstance where through their purchase, they would talk to their lawyers about that. If they come to us, we would say in accordance with the policy, we look at the RPR. If the RPR is not factual, we would direct them back to their lawyer and their realtor to have that conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Karen, yeah, sounds good.
Basically, it just backs up. You no longer have to handhold, like, for the sale.
Yeah.
And people are relying on,
It is very, very rare that a surveyor does not do this accurately. They can lose their license for having a misrepresentation on RPR. It's actually a really big deal in that
I
world.
mean, they're the ones that are making the money on it anyhow.
Yeah, and I've actually never seen that before in my career.
Okay.
And so we're just tightening it up because it has happened once and we're just simply not going to do a site visit again. And where those mistakes are caught, I can share my own experience when I bought my house. I know a lot about this, so clearly I'm looking at an RPR in a different way and I noticed it was inaccurate. And we actually had a 2 centimeter encroachment into our back lane. I went to my lawyer, who had no idea what I was talking about, educated them on what these are, and then proceeded to say, yes, we're still buying the house. We want a hold back done. And we would like to have this corrected by the sellers. And so the lawyers hold in trust. And we can't give this advice to people because we are not lawyers, but I do share my experience. the lawyers held $5,000 or $10,000 in trust, and the purchasers had to go make it right. If they didn't make it right, then I had $5,000, $10,000 to go make it right myself. And I probably could have done that quicker than they did, but they chose to do it because they want that money released. And so it's all with the lawyers. And that's where we don't get involved in that. It's go talk to your realtor, go talk to your lawyer. You guys sort that out if you see an inaccuracy, and then bring us back a new one. And so what happened in my circumstance is they had to go get an encroachment agreement, 2 centimeters, guys, this much. It would have cost them a couple $1,000 and a surveyor. Then the surveyor has to go back out and reconfirm that everything's good if you move something. In my case, they didn't. And then you get your compliance and you're good to go. So sometimes, depending on what needs to happen, and if they need a development permit for a variance, it can add 30 days, 21 days into the process, because that process has legislated timelines for appeals. So we work with applicants. We're telling them everything about this. We're talking them through it. And I've never heard of a deal falling through over needing to get the ducks in a row. It's just a process, and we're here to help them go through that.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion, questions from anybody?
Well, just gonna.
All right, I can get a motion to approve the updates to the town of Thorsby certificate of compliance policy as per the attached draft policy, the 6 items on it. Would you like to make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you for that. All right, 9.5. You want to talk about that one?
I would, your worship, with your permission, I'll turn it over to Ms. Armitage.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so we do not currently have an encroachment policy. However, through our review of the compliance policy, we decided we should. And what happens with an encroachment? The example I just shared of my property was an encroachment. And what it meant is that my fence was 2 centimeters into the town's roadway. We don't just let people build in our land. If there was 2 centimeters is a bit crazy, but that was my circumstance. That's how tight we are on encroachment agreements and our setbacks. But what that meant was, let's just say somebody built a shed 2 feet into a utility right of way or into our back alley. Now, all of a sudden, we can't put a grader down there, or that utility right of way, there's a break, and whatever utilities in there needs to dig in, and that's in the way, and there's damages. So what an encroachment policy is it gives us some ability to maneuver of what needs to have something registered on title versus what doesn't. And also essentially says to the owner who has to have it registered on title, you can have this in fun. But if it's damaged or there is issues with it, that's on you. And so I have that on my property, and it gives the municipality, when it's on our stuff or a utility right of way, the ability to know that we're not at liability. There are times when we will not accept an encroachment. And for example, we can never accept an encroachment if it was on a high pressure gas line. Like there's certain circumstances where we wouldn't. I don't think we have high pressure gas lines, but just as an example, we also will never ever be able to approve an encroachment onto an adjacent property. So sometimes we will see, especially older buildings that are built over their property line. We can never give compliance or an encroachment for somebody to build on someone else's property. There are circumstances where neighbors have jointly agreed to register a caveat on their title and say, we agree to this, we understand it. We still, in a compliance situation, can't give compliance. But we are able to explain that and work through that. That's a very rare circumstance. So what we've done is create when encroachments will not be permitted at all, the type of encroachments that are exempted from requiring an encroachment agreement. So there are certain things that might not need one, such as a 2 centimeter time. General procedure, how encroachment agreements are dealt with, which is something we've already been doing, but getting that put into writing so people know what to expect. Enforcement protocols and general requirements. So we still have to align with federal, provincial, and any other policies that exist. And essentially this again is one that we've worked through with legal a little bit to make sure that we're on par, and our encroachment agreements. We've had their eyes on it as well, and that's an administrative document, so it's not for you guys today, but we update certain sections based on what the actual encroachment is. And essentially we have fees, we have an application process, and this does take time. When we have an encroachment come forward, we have to have our public works team look at it, but depending on where the encroachment is, it could involve Alberta Transportation, it could involve any of our utility providers, being ATCO, Fortis, any one of those that are utilizing the lines, the space for their lines. So they're not quick, but we do everything we can within reason. And when I say not quick, I mean they're not overnight. They're usually 4 to 6 weeks to get done. So again, we work through people with that, and that's where getting your certificate of compliance can take a longer time if you need an encroachment agreement registered. And they do have to be registered on title when one's required, so that goes with the property, not the current owner. Because we don't want to do this every time. If you're gonna have an encroachment, I'm never moving my fence. So the next person who buys it will see that fence has permission to be there, and go your merry little way.
Inherit that basically, right? You can't change it.
Yeah.
And your lawyer, when you purchase, should be sitting down with you and going through what's on your title, right? Can't guarantee that happens, but we do also have people who will call and say, hey, I'm buying this and this is on the title, what does it mean? And we'll walk them through it because it's public knowledge. So
how did we deal with this in the past? We just let the lawyers have no.
no, I just, on encroachment agreements, I think we've done one. And it's the same process. We just didn't have a policy in place. It was just an administrative process. And we just decided after our recent experience that we wanted a public policy that we can point to that outlines what we're doing.
Okay.
All
right. Yeah, go ahead.
Your worship, to your question, we're not sure what happened before we got here either. How's that?
Good point.
I'll be honest with you. There's no policy, so
Bad question, yes.
No, it's a really good question.
I missed that part of the question entirely. I was like, we've done.
Go ahead, you have a question?
I got your rate when we were starting the meeting, but can I ask, who is this lady? I don't know what you're representing when you say we, is it the Alberta government or what do you?
Your worship, I'd like to introduce Liz Armitage. Liz Armitage is a registered certified planner, has her own company, the City of Planning. Yeah. She is our contract planner for the town. And I've known her work since 2008.
No, I'm not questioning it. I just kind of wondered, like you're saying, when you're making these changes and everything. Like real property reports, if they used to just pass them on from the seller. And now it sounds like you better get a surveyor and a lawyer every time you buy a place in town here. That's what it sounds like to me, that it's getting to me. Because the old real property report or compliance certificates, they can be wrong. So you should be, every time you buy a house here, or anybody that buys a house in town, better get a survey.
I think, well, it says, I'm sure you can answer that. I mean,
Yeah,
There's a time restriction on there.
absolutely not. You may need one, and that is the decision of the purchaser and seller and their lawyers and realtors. We're here to support the process if they need one. We don't tell people they have to have one, but their bank may. And so in order to get your mortgage, if the bank says we need a certificate of compliance, in the policy, it does outline when we'll accept older ones and how old they can be. And you would need a statutory declaration declaring that nothing has changed on the property. So I'll use myself as an example again. We rebuilt our deck. We changed nothing else, but we rebuilt our deck. It does not have the same footprint. So when I move, I will need a new one because it no longer matches my own. So if you make a change, then and your bank and your realtors require the certificate of compliance, then you would need to hire a surveyor. If there's no changes, then there's a good chance you wouldn't. So we're just here to support the process that the banks and the lenders, so the mortgage brokers, whomever, are required.
I just wondered, because if you do build a deck or something like that, you better go to the town or whatever and make sure you're
inside of the property line and everything that are in building, like you said.
In an ideal world, it would be wonderful if everyone would do that proactively. Nothing would make my heart happier.
I'd just like to point out that in the past, that all of this fell on the CEO, who is by, with all credit to the CEO, is not an expert in all of these things. Where Liz is designated, she's got, does this for a living, and it's a liability thing for the town, and this way, you know, we're trying to limit liability and do everything the right way. In the past, everything may have been a little loosey-goosey, and it showed up in a lot of cases where all of a sudden, people built buildings and stuff like that that weren't in accordance with the land use bylaw, and it was nothing but problems.
I wasn't questioning your competence.
Okay.
Just wondering what.
No, I didn't mean it that way either. I'm just explaining why we, you know, we do it this way, so.
Yeah, it just sounded like, yeah,
Okay.
better get a surveyor.
Yeah.
And a lawyer whenever you buy.
See, Donnie, you want to make a comment on that?
Well, just an experience. When I was in another municipality, there was, to use your term, which is a good one, loosey-goosey rules. And people were building all over utility right-of-ways. And when I say building, it wasn't just a garden or a shed, it was garages. And another municipality was a house right on the utility right-of-way. And they used the front part of the property as a playground for their children. And no one knew about it until the utility had to come in and change utilities. And we had to get it was a Queen's Bench order at that time to tear down the house. Yeah. And rip up a garden on another one and tear out a garage in another one. So, because it's their right of way. So we're sticky for protection.
I'll share another municipality where they actually issued a development permit for a garage over top of the water main.
Yeah.
But the garage had to be built in two pieces that could be taken apart, and it was a 2-bay garage. This was not, so technically, the drawing showed that it could be severed, and the municipality, we worked with legal, and ultimately the decision has been to let sleeping dogs lie because we approved it. But when there is a water main break, they did it at both sides of the streets. We have zero access to get in without going through one or the other garages. And it's terrible. And I'm terrified of the day that my phone rings for that one.
Yeah.
Because it's going to. And I hope I'm retired. Like, or out of the country. Like, it's gonna just be, but again, didn't have planning staff, didn't have that. And we approved it. Whereas most often these circumstances are where they're not approved. And there is no encroachment agreement on the title. So when it comes to actually selling it, they would have no idea that the garage is required to be able to be separated and moved in an emergency when we need to get construction crews in within 20 minutes. Yeah.
Well, that's the story, but we lived in Devon. We had a high pressure gas line that ran behind on our property. I mean, we bought the house, it had a fence on it. When we were replacing the fence, went to the town office, said, we're just replacing the fence. And they went, oh, could you realize that if they have to get at the line, your fence is gone and your garden? I mean, yeah, on 5 feet, I mean, we knew that was, it never happened and nothing that's decommissioned anyhow, but it was put in there. If they had to get in, they were coming in.
You can come in for sure. So, all right. Thank you for that. Yes, go ahead, Council.
And so my question actually kind of coincides with Audrey's. The utility right away in our area on the north side of town, APCO is going to be doing some work. And there is a utility right of way at the back of our property. And there's fences built over.
Mm-hmm.
And so if those fences have to come down, is it APCO's responsibility to put them
No.
back up?
No,
If there's an encroachment agreement, absolutely not, because the encroachment agreement would be that way. But I would, I'm not a lawyer, I'd venture the guess, even if you went to court to get them to rebuild it, you would know it.
And that,
Yeah, no, and
That chance in there.
No, and your worship, to the Councillor Tracy, just to add on what Ms. Armitage is saying, is that ATCO has provided me with the drawings of those caveats on a GIS map and on a Google map. And we signed off on them because they're their caveats. So, and the sign off is to acknowledge that they're there. And ATCO is very thorough, so people might be losing their fences.
Yeah, I didn't know if they'd be just drilling under or.
They're gonna try.
They might be.
They typically try very hard to not damage anything, especially when it's not an emergency replacement.
Yeah.
But there are times where they don't have a choice. And at the end of the day, for example, it was a water line and we had a main break and we are flooding. We're gonna do what we have to do, and you might lose your shed or your fence, and we still try to not cause that much damage. Like no one wants to cause damage.
No.
No one wants to be in that situation, but in certain emergencies, there's no choice. And even in well-planned out projects, sometimes they're just a practical option. So.
We'll see what happens. I hope you keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of knew the answer when the fences went up, but
Like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes very thorough and very fussy.
I didn't
Actually,
expect them to be coming in within 10 years of the place being
All right.
built.
Thank you for that. Any other discussion? Any other questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve policy ADM 0526 encroachment as per the attached draft policy?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Well, thank you for that. Pretty soon we won't have anything to do.
Really exciting.
You're funny.
He actually said that aloud, right?
Like, it would just be
Yes,
glorious
yes.
If everything was just
Thank you.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and just went smoothly. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
Safe drive, Liz.
All right, moving on to 9.1 bylaw 2026-14 tax installment program, first reading. If Sydney, you want to talk about this?
I will. Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Mayor. So administration is introducing bylaw 2026-14, the staff tax installment program to expand upon the existing bylaw 9907. I think 27 years is a good time to update the policy or the bylaw. So the current tax installment plan was adopted in 1999 and requires modernization. The proposed bylaw updates the payment dates for the last business day of each month. It provides for recalculation of monthly payments in January and May. The reason for that is if you go on the plan halfway through the year, your payments are really high. And then if we don't recalc in January, come May, they go really low. And then the next year, they go really high. And I always get calls when they go really high and not when they go really low. So, and then it establishes removal from the program after 2 NSF payments in a calendar year, which we already do, but it's not in the bylaw.
Okay.
So then the bylaw also established pre-authorized debit as the standard payment method, while grandfathering existing participants who currently pay by post-dated check. We have 2 people that refuse to do electronic payments, and so they will be grandfathered in, but anybody coming on the program has to do EFT. So it's just quicker, easier, less administrative burden.
Good, thank you for that. Questions, anybody? Questions? Nothing?
27 years, it's time.
All right, can I get a motion to give first reading of bylaw 2026-14 tax installment program?
I will make motion to do the first reading of bylaw 2026-14 tax installment.
Thank you, all in favor? And that is carried. All right, moving on to 9.2, bylaw 2026-15, penalties on paid taxes, first reading. See,
Yeah, so this bylaw is to update the one on unpaid taxes, just to expand on the existing 2013-08 bylaw. We reviewed the existing penalties on unpaid municipal taxes bylaw and identified the need to modernize the bylaw and clarify payment deadlines and administrative procedures. This bylaw was very, very, very short. I don't know if you looked at the old one. So the proposed bylaw maintains the town's existing penalty structure while providing clear provisions regarding when payments are considered received, because this is always the arguments at that time, including a 4:30 p.m. Alberta time payment deadline, treatment of weekends and holidays. So if the payment deadline falls on a weekend, you get till the next business day. Electronic payments when those are considered received, because people will pay them on their house on the 30th, but we don't get them till the 2nd. And when it's in our bank is when we consider it paid, not when you submitted it online. Mailed payments, that's regulated by the MGA. Those have to be considered received when they put it in the mail, when it's postmarked. And returned or dishonored payments. That was not in any of the bylaw before. So the new bylaw also updates terminology and legislative references to align with the MGA and repeals the previous bylaw and amendments.
Thank you. Questions from anybody? Nothing?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay, I get a motion to first reading of bylaw 2026-15, penalties on unpaid taxes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, 9.3, policy FIN 326, financial management and budget administration.
I'm very busy.
Go right ahead.
Administration has prepared a new financial management and budget administration policy to incorporate and replace several policies into one referral policy. It establishes the overall framework for financial planning, budgeting, monitoring, and reporting. The financial management and budget administration is an umbrella policy covering annual reporting and capital budgeting preparations, responsibilities of council, CAO, CFO, budget amendments, transfers between departments, treatment of surplus deficit, year-end carry forwards, monthly reporting, and multi-year planning. Council approves the overall operating and capital budget. Once approved, administration is authorized to operate within the approved budget, subject to established financial authority limits, material changes to service levels, total expenditures, or approved capital projects require council's approval. This will be one of 10 policies that will be introduced to establish the financial policy framework for the town of Thorsby. So administration recommends through motion of council that 2 motions be passed. Be it resolved that policies 2010-004, expending of funds in special circumstances, 2010-006, annual budget development, and 2013-005, budget guiding principles be rescinded. And then be it resolved that policy FIN 0326, financial management and budget administration, is approved.
Thank you. So these are 16 years old.
Yeah, they're old. All of our policies are old. And they're just more modern and more in line with the MGA, and then just establish clear guidelines for who's responsible for what, what we're going to do with surpluses, how to manage deficits, reserves. Yeah, and it's kind of the overarching policy for all the other ones that are going to come after it.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody have any questions on that? Just remind everybody, this is the first reading, so I mean.
No, this is a policy.
Oh, this is a policy, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right, on the bylaws, so that, you still can change that, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the one, sorry, thank you for that. No, questions, no, nothing, okay, first motion to, policies 2010-04, 10-06, and 2013-05 be rescinded.
Oh, I can go ahead and motion that.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Second motion, policy FIN 0326, financial management and budget administration be approved.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried.
I also noticed and liked that you guys have an next review date built in now.
Yeah.
And that's good.
It's a review stuff.
Things won't get.
Because things
for so
change,
long.
like the MGA changes all the time.
Yes.
I'm saying that these haven't been done.
Yeah. All right. And I mean, financial policies are done.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, 10.1, variance rate for July, one more time.
Okay. All right, we are this is July, 7 months.
Yeah.
So we are at, let me get them. Total revenue, 57% of revenue and 50% of expenditure. So, we're ahead. We just got today, actually, $88,000 as our operating grant from the government. So that'll be on next month's variance report. But yeah, we're sitting in good. There's nothing I'm worried about at all. We have the water main break at the intake. That was $100,000 bill. Well, 94. But so we decided not to clean out the wet well this year.
Okay. I'll see you, Donna. You want to make comment on that, or?
Yeah, we certainly can. That has been leaking for a while. That's a solid steel pipeline, 16 inches in sleeve. So that's sleeve inside. In looking at the break with the welder and the team, I was there. The break, we believe, and we're pretty confident, that stemmed from installation. So when you have the big boom caps that are putting the pipe in the ground, a lot of times when they bring up the grappling hook, it'll ding it. And the hole was probably this big. That was it. But it took quite a few years to come to the surface. And the yellow shell coating on the pipe was scraped off. So it did us well. However, we had to dig down 20 feet. And then we put in the sluice boxes, and then we had to dig another 10 feet to get down 30 feet to that pipe. The welder welded it. I insist on the fact that they are certified pipeline welders. That was welded and done properly, inspected. And then we started having, everything started to close up. So that's a lot of closing up and a lot of gravel and a lot of this and that. However, we're pretty satisfied with it. And once we determined that the break was installation related, it is a way different thought process, and I'll say feeling, but I don't like that word actually for this, but it's a different thought process than if it had come from inside and was leaking from the inside, or there was a burst or a weld, when you're welding the different pipes together, if there was a weld break, right? So anyways, it's all fixed. We left it open for quite a while to make sure it was good. The road has been rebuilt, and good job was done.
So we couldn't really pump water into the reservoir unless this was fixed.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It is now, the reservoir is now filling.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a big,
Yeah.
we got two big breaks this year.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, comments on the various report? Motion to accept the July 26th various report for information, please.
I will move acceptance of the variance report.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. All right. Now come into the correspondence. We have a report from West Central Airshed Society. See it on you want it? I don't think you've never heard of these.
I'm not the only one.
Like, what is that?
Oh, what?
I will give you all comfort, safety, your worship that this DAO has. So this is just a report about air quality.
Oh,
and they monitor 11 stations. They have 30 purple air microsensors and 100 air quality parameters. Now, we have no wildfires going on right now in Alberta, so that helps. But they monitored 49,000 hours. Really, if you look at it, because we gave them a phone call and I said, what do you think? I mean, we've had high temperatures before. And I said, when do you go back in time to be able to provide us with historical data? But the warmest temperature in 2025 was 38. Coldest was minus 35. Yeah, I remember that date. And maximum wind speed is 56 km an hour. Now, we know we've had events where the wind's been faster and sheared off trees and all that sort of thing, but that's their average speed. They come to community events. They do cloud light programs launched, so they're watching the clouds. They do radio spots and so forth. They get revenue from membership fees. We're not a member here yet, and maybe we never will be, and that's fine. And of course, they do a lot of monitoring. So really, our air quality is very good, and they monitor from Genesee, close to here. And there's the third one. Where was it now? Genesee. Where is it? I had it. Yeah. So, and then, with the wildland fire, report too, they monitor Reed Creek. They have a number of monitoring stations along Reed Creek too. So they kind of share data a little bit. So this is just an interesting, discussion from them of what's going on, what's happening with the air quality that they monitor. And, they didn't have any real serious concerns about it. Because I asked them, where's your concerns, so I can identify it to council. No real concerns, they're just letting us know. So that's basically that in a nutshell, your worship of council.
Thank you. Any questions on that? I see they were established in 1995, so they were doing that for quite a while.
Yeah, they've been doing a long time.
All right, a motion to accept correspondence for information.
I'll motion to accept the correspondence for
Thank
information.
you, all in favor? That is carried. All right, so that's it for our agenda items there, at the back.
May I move back there and ask a question as a resident?
I don't,
Irene.
I don't see any reason why not. Go ahead.
Yeah, earlier on this evening, you were mentioning about having things put on the agenda for the council. For many councillors' terms, they've had numerous ways of doing this. One of them was having your requests in writing submitted to the council on the Thursday prior to the meeting. Now, I've discussed this with any number of people, and that meant that if we had a concern and we brought it in writing on the Thursday, that gives the councillors to get together as a group and discuss what is the best way of keeping these people quiet. Now, I don't know whether it did or whether it didn't. I mean, that has been suggested that's been said. Another one was, because people argued about this. Another one was, we were given 15 minutes, the residents were given 15 minutes to voice their concerns at the meeting. Now, if you had 15 people that wanted to say something and you allowed them 1 minute each, that wasn't very much.
No.
And if there was nobody, and if there was one instance that there wasn't anybody that had a complaint. So I thought, we can't waste this 15 minutes. We've worked hard to get this 15 minutes. So, can we do a recital of a poem or a song or a dance or some jokes and waste that 15 minutes? It was our time.
I think, like when I made that comment, Irene, it was for the council more than anything, nothing to do with you guys. And I'm very happy with the way you guys are doing it here. It seems to be working well. And if it gets out of hand and it takes too long, then I guess, Theodona, we would have to ask them to start submitting them and they'd be part of the delegation. And I don't think we'd give them 15 minutes, might give them 10. I think that's what our bylaw says,
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
And anybody else want to make any comments on it?
We haven't had an issue in the 4.5 years I've been here.
No.
It's typical practice, right, that at the end of a council meeting, before adjournment, that the public has a right to ask questions and so forth.
Yep.
It's up to administration, if we can't answer to the benefit of council, that we just say, we'll take your question, we'll research it, we'll come back to you to next COW meeting. So, I think.
I heard your comments. I have no problem with, you guys bringing stuff up and occasionally, technically, if you want to really get into it, when we're having a council meeting, a regular meeting like this, the discussion is for the council. But I have no problem, when I recognize you, if you put your hand up and it's just a simple question, I have no problem letting you guys get into part of this. But really, when the bylaws say that that's not the way we've got it dedicated, am I correct in saying that?
A little bit, Your Worship. But the mayor has counsel
Yes.
To change things a little bit if he or she recognizes that it's a simple question with a simple answer or a simple, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Most mayors that
I
I've
have the
been.
discretion for sure.
Exactly. It's your discretion as the chair of the meeting. I certainly know that a lot of mayors have a sixth sense about these things and they know when to grant that and when to say nope.
I know if you, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but I've been in some other council meetings where there, and I mean, it's, you don't talk, the floor doesn't recognize you, there's no discussion at the end of the meeting, and, you know, I don't think that's the right way to do it, and, as long as it continues this way, it's perfect.
I mean, in the past,
Yes.
we have had the RCMP here because it's gone out of hand.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that doesn't have to happen. I know, so I always watch that door for somebody coming in with a gun. I haven't seen it yet. I hope I don't.
And the thing was, you're talking about borders and that you can't sort of build a fence over the border.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this relates to me actually. When I bought my property, I lived in Ontario, so I had to have a lawyer here and a lawyer in Ontario. And I took he had the paperwork faxed to him in Ontario, and he looked through it all and he said, that wouldn't have happened here. I said, what's that? Now, in Ontario, and I don't know if it's the same here, if you got a fence in your neighbour's land for more than 12 years, that's the boundary line. You can't take it up and put it back where it should be. Now, my property, or some of the things on my property, is over the fence line, over the boundary line. And that was approved by the mayor at the time, going to council and saying, I want my fence, I want this shed here, I want that shed there. And it was approved. Would you come and take my fence down? Or my shed down?
I would.
Well, your worship, too, Irene, I would take a look at your paperwork first and just see what was approved. That'd be number one. Number two, I don't know about the 10 or 12-year rule. And the only reason I say that is because 8 years ago in Leduc, we had a fence dispute with the neighbor. Their dispute, we came home when our fence was gone. We were going away on holidays, and they took the whole fence down and built their fence on our property, and it wasn't a good fence. And and fence disputes, you never win with lawyers. You just don't. Quite frankly, there's no point. So I would look at your paperwork and we would make a decision together. I talked to Liz and no, I probably have Alec Bowman take it out for you. All right.
That's why when you buy something, you should have a survey
Oh,
and a lawyer.
Yep.
Because people fib.
Carrie, you're as a resident, what can we do for you?
My question is with regards to the construction. And I did try to talk to somebody from Paternies and they just weren't sure. So, sidewalks. My understanding is that the, I've forgotten the word. Curb and gutter is being done everywhere, but only sidewalks are being done where there were sidewalks. Is that correct? So my question was, we have a poured sidewalk, that was roughly kind of just over the length of 3 sidewalk blocks long. Sorry, 4, but not as tall. And then 2 going up to our walkway. They took them out. They're saying that the gentleman I spoke to said that everybody's getting sidewalks, which I knew from council that was not correct. What's happening with my sidewalk blocks that they took is my question.
Oh, you've got the blocks, not a poured sidewalk.
It is, sorry, a poured sidewalk, but it's not as deep as what we would pour as a town.
Probably what, an inch or so?
It was
2
about
inches?
this wide.
It was like,
Not as wide as this.
Okay.
No, it isn't still. That's the thing. It was poured.
no, it was poured, but it was probably the size of the sidewalk.
Roughly, yeah. Which is why I thought there were sidewalk blocks in my head, correct me, because there was no steam.
Correct.
They were all in.
Mhm.
So our question is that going back?
I'm going to the toolbox meeting like I do every week. I'll
Okay.
find out.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, go ahead.
Come back.
I just had a couple of questions.
Sure.
One was about our water quality in town here. I had a couple neighbors express the same thing, that there's a smell to it. Sometimes it wasn't as clear as it should be, and you see the advertisements on TV about glass of the Sask in Edmonton. I'm wondering how ours compares to that. And when we're trying to sell our water, and a lot of people in town have said and are being told, don't drink the water here. I mean, they're buying water in bottles or in the big jugs or whatever, but it's a common thing for people to say, don't drink the water here.
I mean, we test the water every day.
I just wondered how it compares with.
I mean, that's something, I guess, you could maybe ask, Water Dave and get back to you on it.
Somebody can find that out.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it.
Okay, we can check into that.
Other thing is campers parked on the street. And I know I said before, and I talked to the bylaw officer and he came around and these people moved their trailer. Now it's back. It's about the length of the trailer ahead, still parked on the street.
Is there a vehicle attached to it?
No, they come back from wherever their vacations, whatever, and they just park it. That's where they leave it. Now, I just kind of wonder, I know what the bylaw says, you can't do that. But he hasn't even been around again, or obviously hasn't noted it, or fined them or anything else like that, but they kind of are ignoring it.
Okay, I'm gonna direct that question to Sue.
You're the only ones in the whole area, everybody.
Well,
else-
I don't think you're the only one. I think there's other places that happens as well.
There's,
I mean,
well, in our cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's referenced.
I see one in front of my place too, so I mean, leave it up to see it. She can tell you what's happening with the,
Well, I'd have to look at the exact address, so I'm not gonna really comment tonight, but I can tell you.
That to you, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
has he been around again since he visited them last time, a month or more?
Well, he's visited more than that because he spoke to a couple of residents and the one went away for a while. It's back again. So we have to do our due diligence. I've got one CPO again because the other one just had a little baby. So he's off for a bit. But I've been watching trailers too. Most of it's spoken to. So now they get fined. The one trailer that I'm most disturbed about is flaunting us a little bit like they all do. So CPO, as you and I have had conversations about that, so.
Well, I just wondered, like I already told the bylaw officer a long time ago, and he hasn't been around to check it again, obviously, I don't think.
Well, I won't say that, sir. I won't say that. I won't agree to that.
Oh, okay.
I can't tell you who's getting what to who and who's getting fined. I have to be careful
Oh,
because
no,
that
but
could be one of you.
I suspected that because
Yeah.
it's still there.
Yeah. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll follow the traffic bylaw and they'll move it ahead
That's what
and
they
then they
do.
move it back. And then they move it ahead and they move it back. And as long as it's in motion, moving ahead and back, we can't do anything about it. Because that's in the provincial traffic act, not just our bylaws, right? We get as frustrated with you as well. It's like all the campers out on the CP land there. Drives me crazy. I can't do anything about it. We've got a squad, we know that for sure. So if you watched the paper last week, we had a schedule now. Everybody's been pretty much warned and talked to, and it was nice to. Now we have a schedule for finding, towing, such. We have to be careful on confiscation too, right? So that's step 2.
We had a couple lots in our neighborhood too, where the grass got cut.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering when they're gonna come and harvest it. Because it looks like it was in a field, it was so high.
Oh.
They haven't done anything. So, no, it's neither here nor there, but I know they cut it or somebody cut it, but I don't know if it was the town.
Which one you talking about? I know.
52nd Avenue, you cut it once this year. Or that was one, and the other ones are building new houses on, so it doesn't really.
Oh, you talking about that corner one? The big corner one?
Well, the corner one that they did,
Yeah.
that even looks better than this one. It's right on 52nd. And
Where's it?
I am 48, and I don't know what the address will be. There's a vacant lot there,
That's okay, take a look.
but it's pretty heavy.
A lot of them were. Yeah, a lot of them were.
If you did only cut it once this year, it means that you can envision.
All the water made it so hard to cut, right? It was wet,
So
so
you couldn't see any of the posts or anything
No.
else in there.
Some of them we've already cut twice, and they've been on the tax roll. We've issued orders twice for the same lot. And they're not gonna be happy come tax time, but that's CFO Cindy's worry.
But that's yes, my information.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Ken, I know you tested enough and it's considered potable, but can it be tested somewhere along the line when it gets to our pipes? I drink the water filters. My roommate can't drink it filtered. You have to buy bottled water from. I haven't been able to cook with it in over 6 months. Because it makes you have like a, if any of you, I don't know how to explain this, but it's like having an MSG attack where you spend time in the bathroom. I can rinse my vegetables in it, but I can't cook them. And sometimes it comes out yellow, like there's something in there that shouldn't be in it. Like you.
It's the pipes.
I
know, but to me, that's not potable water, and sometimes it's not.
Well, our water,
And we definitely want it down.
we have the same problem as other municipalities with full pipes, so I will concur with what Councilor Rodriguez said. Part of our problem in where they're doing the construction was all those water lines were dead ended. So you're gonna get bad water. And I don't mean bad that it's not drinkable. You're gonna get stuff with sediment in it, you might get a different color in it. It's still drinkable. We have to have it tested twice a week at the health center. That's mandatory throughout our environment. And we have to have it tested in different places. So it's not just Dave goes to one tap, looks good, takes it. He's all over the place. So we will solve the problem in the construction area because we're looping everything so that water doesn't have time to sit in a pipe stand. Where you're at in your area, Wendy, there is dead ends. And if we solve it by flushing the hydrant, you're gonna have groundwater for a while because.
I understand that. I don't complain when that happens.
No, it's because you're dead ended over there. So some year that will be looped as well.
Okay.
I don't understand why they allowed, and neither did the guys, neither did the engineers, why the town allowed so many dead ends. You just can't do that. So that will solve that problem over there. We do have potable water. Alberta Environment certifies it. Sometimes you're gonna feel a bit of earthy taste depending on how crazy the river is. So if the river's worked up pretty good, like with all the rains this summer, you're gonna have an earthy taste to the water.
You drink it, it's like.
Well, it's called turbidity, and nobody can stop that. Devon's having the same problems we are. Rocky Mountain houses have the same problem, so is Drayton, because they're up the river. I checked with them, and so does Dave. We've had environment out here 2 weeks ago. They're satisfied with everything because they come out when there's issues like this. They come out, take a look, and away they go. So we also have pipes that are cast iron. We have pipes that are old PVC. We have pipes that are like a paper mache, and pipes that are wood. So, and that's from the 40s. That's normal standard stuff back then. And they sometimes last the longest, actually, to be quite honest. So in fact, there's gonna be a sewer dig coming up pretty soon where the pipes are mache, like a paper mache. They're not paper, I'm not saying that, but they look like that. We even have clay pipes here. So is it just like,
Oh, that don't spray.
it's a combustion of everything. So as we get more and more downstream and down the way in the next few years, we'll have a lot more of this looked after. If we were concerned at all, if the testing came back even one scintille that this water is not drinkable, we would shut it down. You know, flood water, we would shut you down. So when you're pulling river water of a fast-moving river, you're subject to what the rain and the pace of the river. We used to pull from Wheat Creek a long time ago. We still have a license to pull water from Wheat Creek, not only discharge. I can't imagine drinking water out of Wheat Creek. I can't imagine.
John, I just had one more question. Just like, we used to live on an acreage in Capitol Health
Yeah.
Use the water testing.
That's right. Capital
Now,
Health does ours.
now the environment,
No, Capital Health does our testing.
they do?
They do. We have to take it into the health unit every week.
Yeah, okay, that's what we used to have to.
100%.
That's what I kind of wondered when you see the clear water in Edmonton and then see ours.
Well, I mean, our water at the bulk water station is as good as anything. Tell you that right now. It's been tested. I mean, everybody that's been using it, the farmers, and we haven't had anybody say it's discolored or anything. So I mean, that's proof that if you've got a clean line and everything, what comes out of the water treatment plant is fine. It's just in the transportation of it.
I
To
can
the lines. where the
My
lines-
lines are new PEX lines, like it's paid a fortune put in,
Oh, sure.
and it's just kind of, the same, like this lady was saying, it's a little bit yellow sometimes.
You just have to run it. That's the best I can say. Dave and I, our team has talked extensively. I can guarantee you in old parts of Edmonton, like Delton, same things here, old parts of Rocky Mountain, House Drayton, same. We're lucky we're pulling into an alcove. We're not pulling right off the main part of the river. So we're pulling into a quieter place a little bit, which helps. Eventually, who knows? We might need a pre-treatment plant at the river as we get more population, and that's certainly a consideration. Your concerns are extremely relevant. Your concerns are honest, and we know you're not fibbing us and telling the truth. Our water treatment plant is state of the art, and we treat with very low chlorine, actually. So our levels are good. Our pumping rate is good. Our pressure is about 56, between 55 and 56 through the lines. Our pH is around 6.5 roughly, which is good. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 5, depending on the river. So a lot of your concerns, and I always hate saying this because I don't understand who built the water system here, the pipe system. Because there's dead ends in your area, and there's dead ends up by the rec center, and there's dead ends over on this other side here. So we've solved half the dead ends with the new construction. We've solved. Once everybody gets on their new paved streets and all that good stuff, we solved that. That alone, just solving that issue, the dead ends over in construction, was an extra $500,000. So we know we got to get in here. We do eventually. It's on our radar. We're very careful how we test, and we're very diligent. I'll tell you why, because of the Walkerton E. coli situation years ago. And how I know how devastating it was, I was invited there to look after folks by Cooperative Insurance. That was part of what our company did at the time. But it was too dead there. The water treatment operators didn't have any experience, didn't have any tickets, anything. Our water treatment operators, Dave has a 3-4 license, Casey has a 1-2, Barrett has a 1 license with 4 separate tickets attached to it. Cole's working on his level 1, Casey will have his level 2 here this fall. So we've got lots of backup now, finally. We never did before, but we're still safe. So I share your frustrations with it sometimes, because all I can say sometimes is, if I flush a fire hydrant on you, you're going to be madder.
No. When you send the notices, they're being flushed. I can live with that because I know what's happening. But when I go to fill my brother jug, it comes yellow as a crap. Like I have did something. I get frustrated.
No, I know.
And my concern is, what happens if filtering doesn't work?
Well, we would let you know. We would let you know if we have a water concern. As soon as we test it, we have huge filter. You know what, Wendy, why don't you come, phone me up one day, and why don't you come for a tour of the water treatment plant? Seriously. Yeah.
It's gonna help me, my concern. I tried to help her, that was good there, but it's not good.
It's different all over the place. I tell you what, why don't you, when next week,
No, I'm water.
oh, I already know, believe me. Come and have a tour with Dave and I, water treatment plant. Then you can hear it right from him. You can see exactly what he does.
I'm not doubting what you say.
No, but I think it's a good thing.
I just, if it keeps getting worse, do what? I don't want to get sick.
Well, no, if it's yellow all the time, has it ever been clear? Like you've run it quite a bit? Sort of, I'm just
No, the yellow doesn't last.
Right, so run it till it's not.
Right. But, my concern is if it gets so that the filtering doesn't work, what do I do?
Well, then
Then
you
we
let
can
us
go
know.
buy bottled water all the time.
Yeah, no, you let us know, but run it for quite a while. Run it in your sink for quite, you're not gonna use a cube of water running it, believe me.
Okay.
You won't use hardly any water, but run it till it's clear. I will
Usually
say,
it doesn't take very long to get it clear.
No,
But it's
that's
just a shock when it comes.
yeah, and some of that's coming from your pipes. I won't deny that.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of our pipes that we've replaced. I'm shocked. Really, I'm sad.
And also it comes from your hot water tank when, if it is filled.
Yep.
My question is,
But I mean, at the time when it fills, where I live, the water is usually really quite good. Every once in a while, if I'm washing it, but I get a little bit of yellow water. And then I have to wait until I've used hot water, so it has replaced it again.
okay, but I'm running cold water.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're using it, you notice it when especially if you're using the hot water, you have to wait till your tank cleans again.
Pipes are old and they're sediment.
And the pipes are, some of the sediment in there is just,
I know, I understand that, but I just.
but come for a tour, Randy, for sure. Come, let me know, but let's get together.
Sir, any, questions back there?
Let's just comment.
Yeah, go ahead, Irene.
I don't really have any problems with my water. Occasionally, but not very, very often. But I have reverse osmosis in my kitchen. Would that help? Does that help it?
It can, yeah, for sure. Yeah, or a water treatment system or a water filtration system. Yeah,
Just the,
you're comfortable with that, yeah.
yeah,
It's not going to, it'll take the coloring out of your water. Our water's safe. I would say that, but we have pipes that are safe, but they're just old.
Yeah.
They're just old.
Go ahead.
All I was gonna say is, it might be, when you're done with the work and everything, a good idea to have a bit of an education letter, well, or something for the people in town, because if you're trying to sell the water and everybody in town, or not everybody, but a lot of people are saying, don't drink the water to other municipalities, then it's not a good thing for Thorsby. That's all I was.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
About optics.
Yeah, it's optics. We can certainly do
When the
that.
problems are done, when you're done with it there.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. Other municipalities, we've had lots of talks with other CEOs. We're always looking for ideas.
Changing the subject.
Okay.
Sort of directed to you.
Okay.
On our road, you guys call it an L.
Okay.
You can't put a speed limit.
Nope.
Are we allowed to put a slow down sign on it?
If it's on your property, you can't put it in the alley.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I just didn't know we had to have permission to have that sign there.
No, you can, as long as it's on your property.
I think they're driving on 778.
They do.
50th Avenue.
If you put it in your lawn or something, you can.
Okay, thank you.
But you can't use a traffic sign that you would buy at a traffic place. You can have a sign off of Amazon maybe, or something that doesn't look like a directional sign. Like it can't be white. You put it
Like on-
yellow.
Yeah, okay.
On 53rd, people would often put out those yellow
Yep.
collapsible signs, slow down, children
Yeah.
playing,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
That's
So
right.
same idea. You can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you can do that.
We just have to do something. I mean, we're very lucky. There's no kids and no dogs, but it's just, they just go too fast.
Wendy, even when there is kids and dogs, people don't slow down. Where I live, the speed limit is 10. And people are flying through there at 40 or 50. And you can't, no matter how many times you tell them, no matter how many times they get a visit, they don't slow down.
I can tell you we're writing a fair amount of tickets. I'll just say it that way. We're not engaging in tickets on purpose because the CPOs aren't a revenue generator, but we have a fair amount of tickets in the bag.
I know you won't be down there because you don't monitor that alley.
Oh, we are. You just don't know.
Just what you
Because we got other issues to deal with besides you, right?
I know that. My daughter's decided to skateboard.
Saturday night, I'll be like, guys.
It's just that two of us have no other choice. to do that.
I know. No, as long as it's on your lawn.
Okay. So, right.
No, it's.
Okay, that's it. I'm going
Thank
to,
you.
I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Today, before the meeting. We got really good news in our neighborhood. We had a major upheaval since last October with the garbage truck. Half the time they don't empty, such and such. Today was a beautiful day on the road. Yeah. Sorry. On my end of 49 Avenue, there was hardly any vehicles parked in the way of the garbage truck today, and that's the first time since last October.
There you go.
That's. I'm sorry to be so excited, but it was, I feel for the garbage truck guy.
Yeah.
Cause he's gotta spend 5 or 10 minutes down there wiggling around to get the cans, plus all around the vehicles.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare, but today was smooth for him.
He was busy today. He was moving today. He was just to go on today. They're brand new trucks, gorgeous truck.
Well, 2 trucks came today, so.
Right, yeah. I just saw the one today. They're gorgeous trucks, just equipped with everything. So
All right, thank you. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 6:56. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's like, I.
How's it looking over there?
Yeah, well.
I mean,